out of your mind. Step out, step out, step out, step out. Out of your, up, step up, step up, step up, step up. Out of your mind. Step up, step up, step up, step out of your mind. Step out of your mind. Step out, step out, step out, step out of your, step up, step up, step up, step out of your mind. Step, step up, step up, step out of your mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, elephants and squirrels. This is DJ Raviesta here on Rhinos Inc. Gaming. And tonight is the night to talk about Pokemon. And you want to know why? Because we had a Pokemon Presents earlier this week on Tuesday, Pokemon Day, February 27th. And a lot of stuff, and I mean a lot of stuff, was outlined, was shown off, and of course we did get a nice new reveal of something, Pokemon Legends ZA. Looking forward to that for sure, but you know, it's not just me looking forward to that. We've also got some awesome guests here. We've got the wonderful, how should I address you? Should I call you Shiny Vapor, or can I just call you?
You can call me Emily, or
I
whatever
can call you Emily.
want.
All right, so we got Emily over here, and then we've also got Tommy.
The Tommy.
And Sean.
Hey.
And so we're going to have them talking about the Pokemon Presents and, you know, what they felt about it, how their impressions and opinions and so on. So let's get right into it, guys. So I'm going to hand it off to you. Let's get things started.
Okay. There's a lot to talk about. Is there anything in particular that you like, the very beginning of it, or?
I guess everyone will be here for the meat and potatoes of that is the Pokemon Legends ZA, so we should get everything else out of the way for kind of go in the order. I have a list here of what was talked about in order of it, and
Perfect. Let's do
you know
that.
we can kind of build from there. So when the trailer opened, when the presents opened, we had an update for Scarlet and Violet, just being what the next series of in-game raids are.
Get that
which
Herba Mystica.
Which would let off with Venusaur this past weekend, well, for this weekend, where for the first time in that tier of raid, they provided Herba Mystica, which is important primarily for like shiny hunters.
Shiny hunters.
In game. With, you know, otherwise, from my perspective, it was like if you already had that Pokemon because of past transfers, it maybe didn't make it that important for you to attempt it.
But it's got the title. It's got the title.
It has the title. Whether or not it carries up is another thing. But the thing was, if you weren't after it for the title because you already have like a dozen Venusaurs in your box from the years, what's the point? Now it's easier for you to have the justification to not only go in and catch one, but repeatedly catch it because it's guaranteed to drop the Herba Mystica. Because even some of the higher tier raids that had a high rate of Herba Mystica were still not 100%.
It's a struggle.
And I really appreciate how these raids are Venusaur, Blastoise, and the returning Charizard because the Pokemon Company gets scared if you don't think about Charizard once every 12 seconds. So of course Charizard has already had its day in the sun, but we're bringing it back along with its friends.
The others involved.
Sunny day, drought. Wasn't that an ability of a mega? Anyways.
So yeah,
Otherwise-
stack up on those Herba Mysticas though, especially if you're a shiny hunter. They're not necessary, but they definitely help. Like, I have to stack up on them pretty hard.
But one will presume that if they're running this as the series, the other two entries may also have that as part of it.
Crossing fingers.
Maybe other ones going into the future from that point give people more reason to keep going for the higher tier raids.
I forget, are there different kinds of Herba Mysticas, or is there like
Yes.
different types?
Each of the different flavors, like in the past games, how they had different flavors for berries and all that.
Berries
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
Everyone
Gotcha.
wants salty. Salty helps with a lot of certain hunts, so it's a very rare drop. So I don't know if it is dropping it.
It's on the loot table.
Sweet.
Yeah.
No, salty.
All right.
Someone's gonna. Anyway.
Someone will.
Any other notes on any other things for Scarlet Violet? I'm just trying to keep on by the list here before I jump in the next thing.
Not really. Not that I can think of now.
All right. Next was for Pokemon Go, which I've only played it here or there. The one most experienced in that front is Emily.
Been playing before day one.
Yeah, day 0 player as well here, but I just haven't kept up.
Long story short, he helped us download the Australian version. So we got to play the day before. So the date, instead of saying 7/6/2016, our date on our game still says 7/5/2016. So we started the day before.
You may have heard of hipsters who like to play things and enjoy things before they were cool. This is a turbo hipster. She was playing it before it was
Both
playable.
of us. Both of us.
Yeah, but you're still into it.
I'm still playing.
Yeah. The big event Pokemon is the Captain Hat Pikachu, which is to go along with the new run of the anime that's happening, because Ash and company are retired, they're done. So, but a
He's
big
still
note
10
is
years old.
just like any of the other Pikachus that have any of the other event Pikachus, even the Ash Hat ones that have been in the games, you cannot transfer them out of the game or even evolve these Pikachu. As it stands now, whether or not they update in the future, it's up to them.
It's just like a little bragging right in the game if you've
Yeah.
got
It's
it.
And it does have Volt Tackle.
Yeah.
I don't know the merits of Pikachu, Volt
No idea.
Tackle Pikachu in terms of raids and PvP, but
I'd have to look into it. Don't participate in PvP too much. But I don't think it's going to come out shiny. Do you think it's going to come out shiny? Most likely, right?
may or may not. Pikachu is already in there as shiny.
I know.
Have the other forms
It
of
dep-
Pikachu like when the different
Sometimes.
hats? Okay, so it's been hit and miss.
Sometimes the outfits, so like the flying one with the balloons can be shiny, and then
Okay.
later on they release like the party hat Pikachu's being shiny and a few others.
Okay.
I have the Mimikyu one shiny, so that's what I got that one on my birthday.
Like because I remember last time I was really playing Pokemon Go is when they were doing the Squirtle Squad event. We get the
That was a
Squirtle
long time
with the
ago.
sunglasses. That was the last time that game worked on my phone.
You did the Porygon event.
Was that afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay, then so I remember it was one of those 2 days. It was the Porygon one then. But my point was I know that the sunglasses Squirtles
Could
be shiny.
Yeah,
So
still have those.
Yeah, that was part of the event day.
But yeah, so they call them the costume mons. So
Okay.
like costume Pikachu. I know a lot of people in Pokemon Go community are tired of them because they're trying to announce these new events, and then it's just like, oh, it's another Pikachu in a costume.
Yeah.
But if it's a shiny, I can't help it as a shiny hunter. I like having those.
Gotcha. And otherwise, the other big announcement was the Charcadet line. Being
Charcadet.
Yeah,
I thought I said Sharkadet.
Charcadet line being introduced into the games with both of its
I
evolutions.
bet it'll be good in PvP. My gut's telling me it will, even though I don't do it. But people
And
talk
then
about it.
like evolution method, do you think it'll be easy, or are they going to make it convoluted like some of the other ones? Limited items?
Probably difficult. They've been making it more and more difficult
I think
lately.
it'll be really easy. I think the evolution method is just you hand enough money to Charcadet and it will evolve. And if you don't want to do that, there might be something else you can do, but that's a secondary method.
It's probably going to be something with keeping it as a buddy and doing something.
Okay.
So that's most likely what's
Have they
gonna
been leaning
happen.
towards that for
Yeah,
some of the new
like
methods?
Quillfish, the Hisuian Quillfish, if you keep it as your buddy, and I can't remember exactly what you have to do with it, but you got to keep it during that time, and then it evolves into Overquill. There's
Okay.
been a lot of evolutions like that, or a crap ton of candies
Got it.
evolved. So it's probably going to be one or the other, or maybe even both. But we'll see.
Gotcha.
But exciting to get new mods in the game as always.
Because in the games, it's what like in the Sword in Scarlet and Violet, it's like an item, right?
Yeah, you trade in an item. Well, you trade in drops of a version exclusive mon to an item, well, to an NPC who gives you the item to evolve with.
Yeah.
And that, yeah. So, may also be a good opportunity for people who have the other have
would
one
be
version and
cool.
somehow don't have friends to be able to transfer with, or missed out on the events that run every so often, or catching a raid online. So, another option is always good. So,
That's
Actually, sorry, it's a minor thing maybe, but because they called it the Pikachu Caps hat. So I'm wondering, is Cap a character in the new anime?
yeah,
Or is it just short for Captain?
It's a Captain Pikachu.
yeah.
Okay.
He's wearing the captain's hat. I don't know much about the anime.
Because it hasn't officially released in the States yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Well,
I think within this week coming up,
Yeah.
it's released.
Gotcha. 'Cause I thought they called it like Cap's hat, like specifically. I remember it being like Caps.
I think it's just short for
I
captain.
I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
it was short for Captain or if
That's
that's a
my
character
guess.
from the anime. I was wondering if maybe one of you two knew.
But going back real quick, I just hope Charcadet is easy because there's been new mons lately that have been really hard to obtain, just to begin with. So sometimes it's like luck and chance if you get it in a 10K egg. So I'm really hoping like make it just a teensy bit easier. Let's cross fingers because it's hard to be excited when you have to hatch a bunch of eggs and you can't afford all the incubators and that time and the walking, and it's a lot. And when you evolve a Molga for the 10th time in a row in 10K eggs, it gets
for
annoying.
Danny, that comment of anything we wish was mentioned in the presents, we'll get to that later. Like we'll have a little section talking about what we wish was there, what we heard was possibly going to be mentioned.
Wait for
We'll
it.
have a time for that later on.
It's going to be worth
We
it.
have,
Just wait.
Yes.
Yes.
Pokemon Sleep, we're getting the legendary dogs.
That's gonna be
starting with
fun.
Raikou. It'll be interesting because we haven't had any legendary Pokemon yet. It seems like it may be more doing a bunch of tasks to get to it. So, work on your sleeping. Though it does seem that it'll be tied to electric Pokemon, which they are doing an event in game that will make it easy for players who haven't caught a lot of electric Pokemon yet to get those Pokemon and get a team built up for the event later on in March, I believe. Later in, I think, March, April, if I remember right, for the window of that.
This is another game I haven't really played because I don't.
Do you not sleep?
No, I don't sleep actually. If I were to sleep, I would probably be worried about like unplugging my phone in my sleep, and as my phone being my alarm clock would
tough.
give me issues.
You can set it in game to be your alarm clock. Like there's a little thing.
If
If my phone
dies.
battery
If it dies, yeah, you can't keep it plugged in.
I'm worried because I don't sleep still. I'm a rambling
Yeah,
gaming
that's
dude
me
when I
too.
sleep. So
So
I'm worried
I
I'd, like,
have-
unplug it.
I have the Go Plus Plus, so I spent money on that, and that's what I've been using. The downside, it doesn't record me in my sleep. That's interesting about Pokemon Sleep, because it could be. I've been coughing a lot lately.
No,
I was
I'm
3 a.m.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the saw. The downside of this product is it doesn't record me when I sleep.
It's just
I was
interesting
really
to see what
hoping
it
it would.
catches, because I didn't realize how bad of a sleeper I am. I'm like coughing long at 4 a.m. and I don't know, and it stinks to Pokemon Sleep. But with the Go,
Pikachu's calling you a scrub at sleeping.
but with the Go Plus Plus, it doesn't do that. It doesn't record it. But
Oh, gotcha.
it's been easier to kind of shimmy away. But it will lie. It's like, oh, it took you an hour to fall asleep. I'm like, no, it took me 30 minutes. But since I keep it further, but if I keep it closer, I'm one of those where I accidentally press the button, it stops the sleep record. I'm like, dang it. But that's the only money I've technically spent on Pokemon Sleep. I know you and I discussed that there's an advantage for sure if you spend money in game. So I'm hoping with the Raikou and the new event, I heard it's going to be pretty good for us players, that even though we don't drop money into the game.
Yeah.
So it would
Won't
be
know
cool.
until we see it, but so far, I felt nice that I haven't felt the need to, this is a lot of mobile games that we can talk about broadly when we get through them.
Yeah.
Of like the need of some of these games, or lack thereof, of needing to cough up any money at all just for, something that gamifies your sleep in this case.
Yeah.
So, but even like Pokemon Go, if they were to do an event, lately they've been doing more events that you actually need to pay up for rather than using the
it's
coins.
been a lot.
So that's overall.
I will say I love the shinies that pop up in the game. I'm a shiny hunter. I love
Yeah.
it. So I like waking up and there's a shiny swap blue. I'm like, oh, yes. And it makes
Yeah.
it easy. Just throw one little cookie or whatever at it and
Yeah,
get it
I mean,
automatic.
like,
Oh, there you go.
yeah, everything's when it's a shiny, it's guaranteed.
It was-
Oh, that's nice.
So it's very nice. I like that feature. One time I woke up real quick because there was a shiny on my screen. I'm like, oh, yes.
Let's see.
So shiny
Next,
Raikou?
Pokemon Masters.
Never
Now,
played. Not gonna
yeah.
lie.
I've played it a little bit. Like I played it a little bit before, stopped playing, played it again. It's another gachapon game. Waifu husbando collector to some people. Silver and Tyranitar, which does a silver in a special outfit. That's their way of having multiple versions of the same character. And then Gita with her Pokemon. I don't
Cosmog in a
know
bag?
for how the game is
But
now,
I see it.
meta-wise, if it's good or not to be even rolling for these characters, or spending your currency, whether paid or unpaid, to get them. But cool for the fans because they do have features where with certain characters they get a lot more interactions in the game.
They talk to each other?
Like some of them will talk to each other in
Oh, that's
events.
cool.
There's some where you can build up a friendship with the character and get go on walks with them, which I would joke are there's your date with the character.
Is N in the game?
I don't remember offhand. I don't know
I
all
think
the characters.
he was.
Well, they're probably saving N.
Do I go on a Ferris wheel with him?
I actually,
Yeah.
so despite not having played Pokemon Masters EX, I did have a little bit to say just that. Because didn't they call him Champion Silver? So I do kind of like that idea that he at some point becomes a champion. Maybe kind of like giving Johto a champion of their own that's not Lance.
Yeah.
And I also, it's funny because I watched the video 3 times to get ready for today, and it took me until the 3rd time to actually see it. It's interesting that they made his partner Tyranitar, because I think one of the famous things people take away from Silver's character arc is when he's a jerk, when he thinks that Pokemon are nothing but tools and there's strong Pokemon and there's useless ones, he has a Crobat. Oh, sorry, a Golbat.
A Golbat.
Spoilers for where I'm going with this. He then gets that Crobat once he stops being as much of a jerk. And I think it took me until the 3rd watch through to see, oh yeah, they do show his Crobat for a shot in the scene. And it was just, I guess I'm kind of interested that his partner's a Tyranitar.
Yeah, the Champion series of outfits they've been slowly going through, like the protagonists and
Gotcha.
and then some of the ally rivals they've done, red, blue, and green all had champion outfits as well with different Pokemon that worked for them. Otherwise, when it comes to the gameplay, I don't know how good or bad they are and how they fit into the meta for any co-op or even single-player raid gameplay, whatever else. So I'm not going to speak to what I don't know about.
Yeah.
Next was Pokemon Cafe Remix.
It's cute.
Yeah.
I never had the chance to play it. There's been so much other stuff. But I love the art. I really love the art. It's phenomenal, whoever's working on that team.
Got a very cute art style. They'll be adding the Paldea starters.
Ooh.
So you can get them through events, which from my understanding of the game, there's no more main permanent content being added. They're just doing cyclical events, so they'll
Little things here and there.
things here and there that keep you to go back on, not because you need to progress any main things. It's because they're running an event for a special outfit of this Pokemon or that Pokemon. I saw that you could get currency to where you can get up to the legendaries, Koraidon and Miraidon.
Yeah. That's
as
really
well.
cute.
So if you play it and really into it, that's cool. But I don't know anything even in terms of monetization. How achievable is it for a free-to-play player?
Yeah. Maybe I'll check it out just to see.
Yeah.
I thought it was a rhythm game based on because if you look at the trailer for it, all the movements sync up to the beat, and it was a really nice, cute little song they played. So I was like, oh, is Pokemon Cafe Remix a puzzle game? I'm sorry,
A rhythm game?
A
but
rhythm
no,
game.
it's apparently a
Puzzle
puzzle game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good at words.
Shannon, Silly May notes, that's my wife. I need to get back into the
Shannon.
cafe game. It is very cute.
Oh, she plays.
Yeah, she played a little bit of it.
She's got to show me how. I want to.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Next was Pokemon Unite, where Miraidon is
Yeah.
expected to be very soon. Shannon also saying, I wish it was a rhythm game. Pokemon Unite is adding Miraidon immediately, and then Phalanx and Ceruledge are going to be added over the next few months. Miraidon is going to be available, apparently, that you can do an event, do a series of tasks in game to unlock it. Again, how achievable is it for a free-to-play player? I don't know. I haven't played it recently to know how all these events work. So that's out of my wheelhouse.
Have you ever played?
No. My basic understanding of Pokemon Unite is it is a more user-friendly, not as toxic Pokemon League of Legends.
Yes,
and the
that's what I've
problem
always heard.
is that I'm still describing it as a Pokemon League of Legends. And no thanks. I quit that game 12 years ago, and I've been perfectly fine not playing it. I was tempted once when Raven told me they added Mimikyu, because Mimikyu is my
yeah.
boy, but I still haven't done it yet.
All right, guys, I'm chiming in for that one. So
Yeah.
Mimikyu is a lot of fun. Please, I recommend it. Please play Pokemon Unite. It is so much fun, And in fact, speaking about Miraidon, it actually is possible to get Miraidon right now as a trial license by doing the code PokeDay24 in the gift exchange. So if you want to test out Miraidon, you can definitely do that. And right now on screen, you're seeing some gameplay of me playing as Miraidon, which is a lot of fun. Like, I'm telling you, it's honestly busted. I'm not going to lie. It is a super busted Pokemon, but super fun to mess around with. So yeah, if you haven't played Pokemon Unite yet, I highly recommend doing so. And Tommy, Mimikyu. That's all you need to know.
I mean, that's a pretty compelling argument.
Now, Ravin, can you chime in on this in regards to like how accessible it is for a free-to-play player or someone who hasn't played this game yet? How achievable is the Miraidon event? Like, it looked like you need to do a series of tasks and go across like a board?
So yeah, so beyond the trial license, which you get just for doing the code, when you're trying to get Miraidon yourself, which I've been trying to do for the past few days, it is gonna take you a little bit. It's not gonna be an immediate thing. So if this is kind of how they get you to like throw some money at it for the sake of convenience.
Yep.
But if you're willing to put in that effort to just maybe do like 2 matches a day or finish off those challenges in a day, which are pretty short to be honest, you can get it done in a decent amount of time.
So it's achievable.
Yeah,
Right,
so it
it's
definitely is achievable.
You aren't running to the wire if you're doing 2 matches a day.
Say again?
You wouldn't be running it to the wire if you ran 2 matches a day. You could casually do your 2 matches a day, and you'll get it hopefully by the end of the event.
Essentially, yeah. Like it definitely depends on the challenge that they give you, because some of them are like, oh, pick up 15 citrus berries, which could be, pretty easy to do if you're getting smacked around a lot. But also, it could be something as simple as, take out 15 wild Pokemon, which could be incredibly simple to do as well. But it really depends on the challenge. So once you get those done, it's going to be really simple. And also, since the matches are really short, they're essentially 10-minute matches for a standard game.
That's not bad.
You can churn those out pretty quick. Even if you're messing up and you're not able to reach your quota, max amount of time you're playing the game is maybe an hour to get stuff done.
Okay. Yeah, if you're into that, I could see an hour a day being reasonable.
My problem is my brain is just the worst. Like, I'm not someone who can dedicate themselves to playing X game for Y amount of time to get Z Sing in like any sort of like pass system or free to play system. That's like, yeah, I'll check out the game and I'll want to play it, but eventually I'm going to get distracted and put it down, and then it's easy for me to just forget about it and never go back.
It'd be like that sometimes.
All right. X, Y, Z, huh?
But yeah, those games are just not. I'm like a shiny hunter. I like collecting, some battling from time to time, but not those style of games. I'm happy for those people that have something different. It's just not for me.
Yeah. Now, a sizable chunk of time was taken up with the new announcement of the TCG Pocket app. Now, the Pokemon trading card game, probably about 6 months to a year ago, has reached, for U.S. players to play on mobile, though the TCG Online app has been playable on PC for quite a while. And this seems to be a fully separate product and project. It looks to be more approachable for the casual player. So, you don't feel overall Pokemon trading card game isn't as overwhelming as other longer running trading card games, but you can, it may be more approachable that you're going to have a quicker battle format where it looks like you only have 1 main Pokemon and then 3 on your bench. So we'll have to see with time, in regards to that, how achievable that game is. But they're advertising, oh boy, 2 packs a day, 2 packs a day. And that's
At least
like,
free packs a day. Like
2 free packs a day. And that'd be, I don't remember what the setup is, like 8 or 10 cards in the pack. So
Can't remember.
Don't remember.
But either way, to me, it looks like it'll be interesting, making it more approachable for maybe the casual fan base to check out.
Definitely me.
Because I liken it to a few years ago when Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, I think, is the one that came out. It was a free-to-play.
Yeah.
A lot of our generation that wasn't up with Yu-Gi-Oh! Picked that up. It's like, oh yeah, look at the Black Magician deck or the Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. All right, and then it kind of pushes you into online without showing you, what happened over the past 20 years
Yeah.
of development on the game, and then you get absolutely trounced because you have no idea what's happening. Pokemon, while the cards have changed since our childhood, especially when they
Definitely.
changed hands, production companies during the Ruby and Sapphire era, it seems to still be a little bit more approachable overall compared to like even Magic the Gathering. So it'll be interesting to see how easy is it for any player to be able to pick that up and build a decent deck within the meta that may build
Yeah.
out of this quicker format.
And you mentioned if they buy the real TCG, you won't get those cards in that game, but there's at least a code that gives you, right?
They
Not for
haven't
the new
confirmed
one.
anything for
So
that
mo-
for TCG Pocket.
Okay, we'll see if that becomes
Yeah,
a thing.
TCG Live
Still has
The
that.
current-
has that. Yeah, you can scan a QR code. So if you buy like a bulk pack that has many cards in it, you'll get like special things with the QR code or a manual code you can also put in if you don't want to scan a QR code. But you won't, if you get booster packs, you won't get the same set of cards in your digital booster
That
pack
makes-
as your physical.
I like that.
Because it's just a digital code for a booster pack.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if any of that stuff will carry over.
Cross the
Pray if that does. Pray for any Target employees working. if y'all remember how bad it was for pretty much any TCG, but Pokemon especially for
yeah. Especially when I
when the
started getting-
when the collectors were really hitting hard after the pandemic.
Well, it was what's his face that really started, that famous YouTuber, whatever, started getting into it, and then like, oh, this guy's getting into it, so I'm gonna get into it, and then it just skyrocketed.
There was a bunch of collectors hitting around the same time.
Yeah, but I think he was like hopping on the collector boon, and then that just it's a feedback loop. This happens, that makes this happen, and that makes this happen again. Just you had an encounter at Target, didn't you?
Yeah, I had an encounter where someone asked me to basically buy cards for them because they were at a hard limit of card packs to buy at a day.
Did you do it?
No,
Good.
yeah. Especially when he came off as creepy as it was, it's someone
buy me
that
some cards?
like they needed their fix.
I just
Hopefully,
don't
I would
like-
get approached at a Target parking lot. Can you give me some digital cards on the page in my pocket? I need my cards, man.
Yeah, it's just the
I need my
scalp.
fix.
Like,
I did like the expanded art they had. Like you can like zoom in on some cards
Yeah.
and get like a diorama. I never played the card game. I used to collect the cards for the art. Get my favorite Pokemon cards, or just like see really pretty art. So I like the idea of this a lot. Being able to, oh, cool! I remember this card from when I was a kid, or I like the art on that one.
I love the art.
Now, whether or not any of those arts from when we were a kid, there'll be new cards, but sometimes for like
I
the
saw one old
151
card. Yeah.
the 151 event, they'd use the art from the original cards for.
Yeah, because I saw OG Pikachu in
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah, so it's definitely.
Yeah,
gonna
they
be in
used the
there.
arts for them but made them legal for play in the current era.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the trivia about the back of the Pokemon cards?
Yeah, fun little fact: for the U.S. English World Pokemon Trading Card game, the Pokeball has been opening wrong the entire time.
What?
But because it would be very obvious to know which ones are old versus new by the back of the card if they were to fix it, the TCG Live has it with the correct way of the Pokeball.
Wait. How's it opening wrong on the?
I don't remember which side was which.
You can't grab that, can you? Like, there's a Pokeball behind
No.
you. It's
Yeah,
probably
As
too
long
far.
as it's openable, I would be able to show it. But like,
It does open.
Okay, it's all right.
Yeah.
Basically, whatever side had the button of the Pokeball
Yeah.
was on the incorrect side, and then they finally fixed that for
You
the
gotta
back
show
of the.
me later, because
Yeah.
that's mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like if I remember correctly, it's on a Pokeball. The button should be on the top red half.
Yes. It's on the bottom.
It's on the bottom white half, and it's been that way in like every Pokemon card forever. But
For the US.
But for the app one, this new app, they'll be able to change it because they are basically they don't have to worry about that whole
That's funny.
telling the difference.
That's a nice little fun fact that I did not know. That's
and I wanted
cool.
you to share it because that was a cool thing you told me about.
Yeah, which I also saw on Twitter.com.
Thank you, Twitter.
Real quick though, I wanted to mention as someone that you showed me the card game once,
Yeah.
one time, which I beat you, which made me happy. Still makes me happy just by him showing me. But it's fairly expensive to get into. Earlier,
Not that bad, actually.
it's not that bad. but I was turned away from the card game because I used to play a little bit competitive in the VGC, the video game format, and I went to a competition. And I'm sorry, but the card people were really, really mean. They were just very nasty. I hope it's not like that everywhere, but where I was, they were just really, really mean. And they definitely had the money to keep up with it. So that's what turned me away. But this, in Pocket, you get 2 free packs a day, and I feel like, hopefully it's not too much money to want to play. And I love the art, and I feel like this is something I definitely will give it a try. I definitely am interested in it.
Gotcha.
It's exciting. But I wanted to throw that in there real quick.
Fair.
But yeah, Bash shows really mean people.
So, but yeah, a lot of what we were
notice.
talking about were like the free-to-play games, and hopefully as showing it, one, obviously company would want you to come in and spend money, but 2, if at least it makes it easy for any of these free-to-play games, make it easy for people who maybe have passed on it or whatever up until this point, and then it's like, oh, that trailer was really cute. That's
Uh-oh, we got a
Sierra
comment?
456 looking at TCG Yu-Gi-Oh players, probably in regards to what you were saying for how bad that they can be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, someone stole my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I remember. That's a whole other
yeah.
story.
And it threw him off the side of a cruise ship, so I couldn't do Exodia anymore.
But yeah, the overall with these free-to-play games, it's especially with Pokemon's wide range of an age fan base, at least for parents of parents that grew up with Pokemon and that have kids that are getting to be in prime Pokemon playing age, that it's making it so the parents don't feel like, oh, I have to shell out money for my kid to be able to enjoy the game.
That's a good point.
Granted, if they have online features, it's up to the parent for whether or not the kid should be playing them, but that's not a discussion for here.
Yeah.
Before we get to the big part, a piece that came up that people were talking about, so I should mention it too for how you feel on it. In the intro of the Pokemon Presents, Pikachu was going by with a bunch of unknown following, and they were all shuffled up, and then Pikachu jumped about and said, for like whatever it said, it was basically Pokemon Presents.
Yeah.
At the end, Pikachu was followed by a bunch of unknown, but it spelled out SOEYU. Yeah, SOEYUE. See you. If it were to be unshuffled, it'd be see you. But the speculation is abound because Pokemon fan bases in general can whip themselves up in a frenzy over the littlest thing. And could it mean something? No, I think it was just
a little cute thing.
Cute callback to how the whole thing opened.
Clearly, Soe-Yu is the true mastermind villain behind the tragedies befalling Luminio City.
Stop it. Don't listen to him.
Or do.
So leading up to the big part here, Pokemon. Well, should we talk about like what we were hoping for, or do a brief bit about the Pokemon ZA? Talk about what we hope to be there, and then further a discussion into ZA.
Maybe Raven will answer that one, if Raven's listening.
Omnipresent voice?
Yeah,
Okay, where's
I
the
am
voice?
listening to things and
Sorry for
trying to do a
multitasking.
lot back here too. So my bad. So we're getting into Pokemon ZA now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well-
Do you want us to briefly go over ZA and then follow back up on it later, like after we've talked about what we wished would have been in the direct, or what we might have been hearing about that could
The
have been in the
rumors.
direct?
Yeah, feel free to go into that, and then we can jump into Pokemon Legends.
Okay.
Okay.
The rumors.
So the
Sounds
last thing
The
that was
juice.
that was mentioned in the direct was shown off in the direct was Pokemon Legends ZA. It was only a little trailer, no gameplay or
Zaw.
anything like that.
Z through A, Z-A,
So-
Z
ZA.
minus A.
What?
Z minus A.
Z minus A.
Yeah, we
Just-
saw a trailer for that. No gameplay footage or anything like that, but it is a new entry in the Pokemon Legends title, which the Pokemon Company does consider that to be a mainline game. So before we get into talking about Pokemon ZA, we'll talk a little bit about maybe what we were hoping for, and then rumors that we were might have been seeing beforehand leading into it.
Yeah.
Do you want to leave with the rumors?
I would probably say, unless you two wanted to add something, because it's really hard for me to talk about like what I was hoping for without talking about the rumors, because like at this point I'm really just kind of let's see what they announce.
That was me.
Like I didn't have any hopes for or expectations for anything going in that wasn't inspired or influenced by some of the rumors, some of the leaks, some of the speculation that we were getting before the actual event itself. So unless you two had any independent hopes you wanted to mention.
So me, I stay away from any rumors and leaks. I like surprises, but I like to be surprised by the actual source. Not so. But because I stay away from it. But I overheard friends, we'll definitely talk about it. They wanted 5th gen. We all know this.
Yeah.
Especially with Blueberry Academy. Yeah. Good old 5th gen. We love them. But my gut was even telling me was 5th gen because we had, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearls. So now let's go to black and white. So the announcement of just jumping the 6 was a curveball. I think for even people that were staying away from rumors and spoilers, because I stayed away from it. My gut's like, oh, it's going to be black and white. So that was a very big surprise, I think, for everybody.
So when it comes to rumors, I try to cite who I follow for it, so that way it's not just, I plucked this because I saw it on 4chan or something, or Reddit or wherever else.
Yeah.
The big one that has been pretty reliable, they've had some misses, like in terms of, they were talking about DLC for Pokemon Legends Arceus, that was going to add more Pokemon. It was an update, didn't add more Pokemon. But, could have been wrong from then, but they've been pretty reliable for the Switch era, as far as I've been following him. That they were teasing both a Gen 5 project and a Generation 2 project. In either remakes of one and then a Legends of the other, something along those lines. I didn't want to go back through and look for it in particular because, again, it's speculation. Whether or not the leaks are continually accurate, which obviously in this case didn't end up being the case. Another leaker that I follow is PuroX, who has been more for Nintendo leaks in general, and not just Pokemon. They did chime in saying that they had heard a year ago about a Pokemon Black and White project being outsourced. But that was a year ago, and they didn't have anything to follow it up with. That's all that they heard. That is their baseline, and not in their wheelhouse either of what they follow for who they have contacts with. So maybe that'll amount to something in the long-term future. Don't know. But as of this, the internet being the internet, don't believe anybody.
Unless it's from the actual.
A baseless rumor I had seen shared around from the depths of 4chan that made it to several websites where they had logos made up and everything. Where Let's Go, Togepi, and Wooper.
There's no. As much as I love Wooper.
Yeah.
Where's my Claude? There's my Claude.
That, like I said, I did not see any sources to that beyond a 4chan post. Everyone says, "Oh yeah, I'm testing on this game and that game." You can find a level of basis for some. This didn't really seem because, as far as Pokemon Company has confirmed, they are not working on more Let's Go entries.
Makes sense.
Everyone believes a lot of people believe it is due to the fact that while Let's Go did sell over 10 million copies, it was primarily in the West, whereas other games tend to have a global, broad appeal.
Yeah.
And I was not walking in expecting that when they've been saying we're not working on it. When they've been pretty forward about what they've been working on in terms of, we got these teams, this one's working on the next gen game, this one's working on DLC, and then we got these people working on a side project, a mainline game, but not, in the sense of go through, get the gym badges, collect the Pokedex, and you're done.
Yeah.
A more story-focused adventure like Legends Arceus was. They've talked about how Legends is more like their testing ground, new ideas that they want to try out that may go into the new games, or they could just leave it there to be more towards the older audience. So,
kind of want to put a pin in that and come back to that later. The whole Legends being a testing ground thing. Also, I just want to say, all respect to Wooper, it would not be Wooper. Togepi, what I think would be one. If you were going to do a Let's Go Togepi and Let's Go blank for a Johto game, you gotta respect the original Peekaboo. Let's go Togepi, let's go Meryl.
Stop it.
No,
Anyway,
I'm right.
I think a lot of people would riot with a new Let's Go. Like, people keep saying it's one of the worst games ever because it got boring really quick. I enjoyed it. It was great. But I don't see myself like constantly returning back to it versus other games. I think it's done its time.
It was a fine thing. I had
It
no
was a fine
problem
thing.
with it.
It's also looking at the
Riding
target
Rhinos.
demographics of these games. Let's Go was built for the younger and casual audience that hadn't picked up a mainline game but may have an interest in playing them because of Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
You know,
that timing was perfect.
it worked out pretty well for them, but the numbers told them that they don't need to make this like a continuing run,
Yeah. So
as far as we know.
yeah, they would riot.
Also, I just want to say, I know a lot of people were expecting Gen 5 and were surprised that Gen 5 games didn't happen. I have a couple things I want to say on that. First off, honestly, it's kind of not that surprising. I know we did just get our Gen 4 remakes with Generation 8, but we do get generations every once in a while that don't get remakes, like
Sun and Moon.
Yeah, Sun and Moon, and Gen 5 itself. We would have, if we got remakes every gen, we would have had Gen 3 remakes on the DS with Gen 5.
True.
Yeah,
I didn't
but
even
we
think of
didn't
it
get
that way.
We got the Gen 3 remakes with Gen 6. We didn't get the Gen 3 remakes. We didn't get the Gen 4 remakes with Gen 7. We got it with Gen 8. So
God, numbers.
maybe they're looking at it as only trying to do one set of remakes per different hardware. Who can really say?
That would make it exciting, though.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to skip it altogether. I think a lot of us, our gut is telling us, okay, something with black and white is going to happen. It just wasn't this time around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, big question to throw in for it is, well, big point of view overall is, one, compared to Diamond and Pearl, Black and White were pretty solid games on their own, that if we got a pure one-to-one remake with just fancier graphics, it would have
Pokemon
been
Gray.
for the two of them, it would have been a good experience still out of the box. But will we just get that, and then would Black and White 2 be left in the dust? How do they approach that?
Gray too. I don't know.
DLC it, a new game plus or whatever.
But the possibilities make it exciting.
Yeah.
Just don't get
So-
too excited. Don't, leaks and
These are
spoilers and rumors, but
Questions that we may see answered with time.
yeah.
I do think I think there's a lot to criticism that gets tossed at Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I think a lot of that is because Platinum did improve a lot on some aspects of. Yeah, no offense to you guys, but Platinum did improve on Diamond and Pearl in a lot of ways, and it was kind of a shame that those improvements didn't see their way into the remake. I think that's why Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl got a lot of criticism. Black and White, you don't have that issue. There is not a Pokemon Gray that is black and white with the wrinkles ironed out and made just that little bit more player friendly. So they don't have that same risk of being compared to your much more successful older sibling from 10 years ago.
Yeah. Right. And, we'll see with time. Maybe whatever, if Ilka has their hands on it again, and maybe it's getting a little bit more time in the oven, we'll see.
I just don't want chibis again. It was
Yeah.
cute, but please no more. But that'll be a whole other tangent maybe for another day about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, because we can go into that.
Yeah,
my
a
God.
lot of the decisions made there were maybe because of the short development time.
True.
12
Okay.
months from start to release.
So good on them to at least get all that content in
As
that
someone
time.
that likes poking into the Pokemon modding scene, they do a Gen 5 and it's in Unity again, a lot of Pokemon modders are going to love it.
All right.
All right, so anything else on expectations? Anything you were hoping for going in outside of Gen 5?
I was hoping just for more. We'll talk about Z through A, whatever you want to call it, in just a moment. But it left us hanging, I feel like, a lot. We see some mods for Furrow and in there, and a few others that you'll definitely mention. But there's so much that we don't know, so it's hard to talk about. But Megas is the one that everyone's talking about. But
So-
I just want more. I don't know what else to expect.
I personally was hoping that at this video they were going to finally show the trailer for Metroid Prime 4. And
Tommy?
I'm disappointed that we didn't get that, but I'm
Tommy?
understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you? Anything? Not
One
his.
thing that kind of, it's not just for Pokemon, but it's gaming overall. We don't have a Pokemon release this year. No new.
It's good to have a
game.
break.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about that.
But
yeah.
good to have a break, yes. But we had the DLC for Scarlet and Violet filling out mid and late last year. But do we have any speculation on release timing? Do you think it might hit around January-ish or up
Normally,
through
it's
March?
always around the holiday season. So November. It normally hits.
Oh, you're thinking it'd be all the way towards the tail end. of
Oh
next year.
yeah, that's my
Okay.
guy.
Ooh.
If they can polish it out, but it's always near the holiday season that they release it.
Because if they went for like a late winter spring release next year, that can lead into. There's some speculation if it's going to be multi-console and for the Switch successor.
The newer Switch. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was one of the things that people really want. They're disappointed that, it can be on the Switch. Why can't it be on this newer console? As someone that needs to save money, no.
Yeah.
Well, see, I will admit that's kind of my tinfoil hat theory, because Pokemon has been doing these annualized releases for so long. I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to be earlier next year, and I think it's going to specifically tie into whenever the Neo Switch Super 2 Ultimate HD and Knuckles releases. I think that it's going to maybe be a cross-compatible game, or
It better
maybe
be.
even a launch, hopefully cross-compatible, maybe even a launch title for the Switch 2. I think that the original plan was this game comes out this year as a launch title for the new Switch, and the new Switch got pushed back. We recently learned to next year, and I think that's the only reason this game is not coming out this year.
It's just
That's my
that-
tinfoil hat theory.
I'm okay with
Get-
considering it 3 years between titles. That if it comes out as early as January next year, it would be 3 years since Legends Arceus. So that way, if they had the skeleton of Legends Arceus to build off of, for everything that they built for that to build into this, it would be reasonable in a game development cycle to say 3 years.
Yeah.
That's fair.
But I like this break, because when Scarlet and Violet and everything came out, a lot of stuff was happening in Pokemon Go, and then we just had Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and then we had Legends. I couldn't breathe. I was like, I love this, but this is too much.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just because I'm more of an adult now, but it was just so hard to keep up with all of it. So I feel like this is such a nice breather. I can take a bit of a break, enjoy maybe these other things like Pocket, and just take a breather and then be excited for the new stuff. But let's dig into ZA.
Yeah. All right. Jumping over to ZA.
Whatever Z. If you're listening in the comments, what are you calling it? ZA, Z minus A, Z dash A,
That za.
ZA.
So overall, we just saw a CG trailer, no gameplay footage or anything like that.
Nothing.
So a lot of this is going to be just based on past doings, which is one game in this case, Legends Arceus. So it's not a lot. It can't be the full blueprint, but if it gives us an idea for maybe what they were looking at design-wise, it could give us might help for getting an idea of maybe what to expect, and put a baseline of what to expect, because it's going to be measured against it. That's how many of the Pokemon players place it. They measure generations against each other.
Yep.
The popular tide changes every generation for which one was the good one, and
Gen 1 only.
No,
you
Gen
can that overall it will be measured against this. So taking into perspective, the big thing at the end was that they announced Mega
Megas.
Pokemon returning. It'd be the first time after Let's Go to Pikachu and Eevee that Megas were on the Switch.
Oh yeah, they were in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, weren't they?
Yeah, only for the Gen 1 Pokemon.
Oh yeah, of course.
I forgot about
The only
that.
real ones,
Yeah.
as some would say.
And everybody is screaming for Flygon.
Yeah.
Because Flygon, I believe, was originally going to be there, but they just couldn't come up with a design. That's what I heard, but I don't know.
I have heard that rumor before. Sean
Is
is
it a
shaking
rumor?
his
Rumor?
When it comes to, people think of Flygon being up there with the other pseudo-legendaries.
He deserves love.
Pseudo-legendaries have a 600 base stat total.
I don't care.
And it did not hit that, so it's not a pseudo-legendary.
I thought he was like a.
No.
Isn't he not a companion with Altaria?
No.
Oh,
It's
he's
a
not?
3-stager to a 2-stager. No.
Oh,
I don't care. Flygon.
Yep.
Everyone's begging for it. My gut's telling me I'm putting bets in it that there's going to be Mega Flygon. I'm putting bets in it.
So I guess that brings us up to the first topic of the conversation. Are we expecting new megas?
Yes, there has to be. There has to be new Megas. I definitely see
Yeah,
that
I'm going to
happening.
interrupt and say we need Mega Spinda. Make it happen, Nintendo. Make it happen,
Actually,
Pokemon Company.
Spinda, I have a little discussion point on that later on. That you'll be getting some Spinda love here, Raven.
But I see
I
it in
hope
a
so.
Twister. Like, I just imagine Mega Spinda in like a Twister form, and it's like.
So
But anyway.
the first point I was going to bring up is the deck size. Now, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, it was 242 Pokemon, and that included Shaman and Darkrai. So, from the trailer, well, if we build up based upon our theory decks, I guess the best way we would call it, I built up almost 200, right around the 200 mark, easy without having to pull too much extra, because there were 71 Kalos Pokemon. And that includes the event legendaries. This is on the hopes that they do like the design direction, not only in Legends Arceus, but the past few Pokemon releases, of making it more accessible for prior event only legendaries. So DNC, Volcanion, getting more permanently available events. So 71 Kalos Pokemon, 48 Mega Pokemon. Now, that could deal with, do we get even the legendaries, Mega Rayquaza, Mega Latios and Latias? And though they're called primal reversions, they are treated like megas in terms of everything. Kyogre, Groudon. Do we that I didn't include in my 48 list.
We'll see. They may just be exclusive to those games. That's what my gut's telling me.
I feel like it's most like I'm going to lock in every mega that we saw in X and Y. Definitely coming back for this.
Oh, definitely.
I think for megas that came from Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, I feel like it's most likely going to be the megas that not just behave like megas, but also have all the right things. Like, you get the Mega Stone, you get like the Beedrillite, and that's what makes you Mega into Beedrill. I feel like the primal reversions being called something different and using different items to activate it, and then Mega Rayquaza using a move to activate it. I feel like those are the most likely three to get knocked out. And I forget, are Latios and Latias, are they just Mega Latios?
Yeah.
Okay, so
The Mega Stones.
I would say they are likely to get in.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting to see.
So, in trailer, there were a lot of Pokemon that I've scribbled down. Some of them I've starred off my list here because they have they're a part of that region's depths.
Yeah.
Now,
Talonflame, 100%.
just so you see my math, that'd be 71 Pokemon on the base decks, plus 9 starters. Are we going to get a regional final form like we did in Legends Arceus?
I think so.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Oh, that should be a fun topic for later, is what starters be sinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a huge discussion online.
Yeah, that
with
has been
starters.
discussion online. People have their lists of possible ones.
There's no chest pin. I'm sorry.
Now, if we count the evolutionary lines of everything in there, so this is including Mega Rayquaza by my count, that is 96 Pokemon.
Yeah.
90, and then plus 1 for Cleavor. That's going to be 50-50 on that one because Mega Caesar is in the game.
Yeah.
Well,
Mega Caesar's a Mega.
It's not
we get a
spot
Mega
yet.
Cleavor.
Mega Cleavor.
So
That would be
if-
so cool.
If Mega Caesar, if all the Megas make it in, then that would already pump it up to 185. I missed the evolutions by initial count.
New evolution. I'm sorry. I would just shout that every time. Keep going.
I love that.
On the Switch, with everything that's been released so far, 21 Pokemon. I think that number is wrong. By that, it's only 6.
I say 21-ish.
8 Pokemon now don't have any confirmation onto the Switch. The Elemental Monkeys, so that's 6 Pokemon there, and then the Patrat
No
line.
one doesn't like the monkeys.
But the availability, because with the 3DS's online services being shut down and we don't have an end date yet, it will eventually end, they've said, for Pokemon
I gotta get my stuff out of the
Pokebank
bank.
transfers up.
Yeah.
There will be an eventual end to it that these Pokemon will not be accessible to anyone who's entering from the Switch era.
It's very scary.
And then a couple other hits on that. Alolan Rattata line
Yeah.
cannot be put into anything outside of Let's Go.
Why?
The only other game that has Rattata is the Diamond and Pearl remake.
That's so weird.
So technically, Alolan Rattata and Raticate you cannot get in any of the modern games. You can catch them in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and then you can put them into Pokemon
Yeah.
Home to only go back into Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee right now.
Yeah.
But if you put them into any other game that comes out later on the Switch, you can't put them. Anyways,
So weird.
another one is Spinda. You cannot put a Pokemon you cannot put a Spinda into Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Yes.
And this is why.
And you cannot pull Spindas out of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl because of a coding error that basically has past Spindas being reversed in terms of the math, and the back end of Pokemon Home doesn't fix anything of that. So this may give a more accessible Spinda outside of Pokemon Go.
It's because of the dots.
Dots. It's
Yes,
got like
system,
over
right?
The dot
4
pattern.
million
it's-
patterns?
I forget
That's in
the
billions.
6 million plus patterns.
Yeah, it's
not
a
even
lot.
counting that you can double that with shinies.
That's what I love about the shinies because it's most likely the most unique shiny you've got, and no one
Yep.
else has it.
But yeah, it cannot be put into. It doesn't have any other Switch games that it can be put into, and you cannot pull it out of Let's Go, out of Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
So sad, poor thing.
So that
We'll
one
see.
could be another. If by their design philosophy, when they told us about Dexit overall, that by the end of the Switch era, by the end of the console era, everything should be on there, then we should have reasonable expectation to be like, you're going to fill out the list with these Pokemon.
So that's what we're thinking. What's probably going to happen is that this is going to help.
If
fill
we
in the
go by
list.
their word. Big if.
We'll
If we
see.
go by their word.
I mean,
If this isn't the last games on the Switch either.
Yeah.
true.
If.
Because we do remember Ultra Sun and Moon did come out decently into the Switch's lifespan.
Yeah.
Not like too far, but like it'd been more than.
But yeah, counting everything, that's it. And then everything in the trailer, I spotted another 21. So that's already over 200 Pokemon. And for reference, Pokemon Legends Arceus had 242.
Got you. Now, besides that, one of the I'm trying to jump right now. Is besides the Pokemon, unless you want to go back to this, is my brain is thinking also about, are we going to get gym battles? Because that's one of the things that people like. I'm going to say Arceus. That's how I just say it. But Legends of Arceus, it's a fun game. I love it. But miss gym battles. Not going to
Yeah.
lie. Do we think we're going to see it in Z through A?
I don't think so. The Legends is more their experimenting ground.
I know. But
They wanted to, when they talked about it for the 3DS era, the first generation on the system is like their core. You do the gyms, you beat the Elite Four, you win the day.
I know, but just a little
And
bit.
then the second generation they experiment with a little bit, which is why we had the trial battles. They were just glorified gym battles. Like they changed things up. We still had the gym battles, but effectively we kind of had challenges of every single Pokemon type because of all the other things that gave
Yeah.
you badges as well. And Legends I think is way more experimental that we won't have gym battles.
What do you think, Tommy?
I will say it's kind of like a happy middle ground to that. I wouldn't be surprised if there are no gym battles, but I also think, and this is hopefully closer to more what you wanted, if not gym battles, I would not be surprised if we get a lot more trainer on trainer battles, because I do kind of remember
miss
that
that.
like Legends Arceus was a lot more about, hey, this is like the beginning of this group of people's interacting with Pokemon. When we first start that game, we have people terrified of Zigzagoon and Wurmple, whereas we haven't seen that really. I mean, I know we haven't seen much, but like when we saw that trailer, Pokemon were clearly living in, they were wandering, they were clearly a known part of the city. So I think that this Legends game, we're going to see a lot more familiarity with Pokemon, and I think with that's going to come a lot more trainers, and with trainers, a lot more trainer battles.
That would be great.
Yeah, because that brings into trainer battles and such. Will we have some mechanics that weren't there in Legends Arceus? Are we going to see this kind of dipping its toes into how they approach held items? Because we're getting megas.
Yeah.
Either A, they're going the route of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where you just had an option on the menu once you got the Mega Stone for that
I like
Pokemon,
that, honestly.
where you didn't, because it didn't have held items. Or B, we're actually going to have held items. Don't know. It depends on what their design direction is for this.
It's going to be exciting. This is so exciting. I can't, like...
Because we had pseudo abilities, like, Regigigas had its slow start. and Cherim got to have its sun form.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Regigigas. We took out abilities. You're finally...
Yeah.
No, you're not.
It's not for you
you're not.
anyways. So, will we see versus multiplayer? Because that was something that some people wished would be in there.
Yeah.
But again, this is experimenting ground. It'd be cool. It would give another avenue. But it depends on if there's like overall in the competitive scene a niche for it.
Because if this is still experimenting with something new, you know how people have different options in main series games?
This one, by Game Freak, the Legends games are considered main series games.
Because, I feel like you can only participate in VGC with main series games, but it doesn't seem like, nowadays, no. But we'll see.
Yeah, VGC in the past, when we didn't have content updates for the games, they treated the newest release to be the most up-to-date for VGC, so you couldn't walk into, like, the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire era of, the VGC Cup with your copy of X or Y, because there were Pokemon introduced in ORAS that weren't in X and Y, and you couldn't battle against the opposing trader and couldn't use those.
Oh, you couldn't?
No.
That's weird.
Yeah, if you had the Megas that were introduced, that's happened even when they started doing that in Platinum.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. I never knew that. I just kind of assumed because by that point, the 3DS, we were in the era of like being able to put content patches out. Heck, X and Y had to have a patch to fix Luminio City. I remember that bug of people saving.
Let's see what happens with this.
I just assumed that at some point when Omega Ruby and Alpha came out, that they had just patched in the data for these Pokemon so you could at least play against them.
Let's see if these glitches happen with Lumios. There was one big one, wasn't it? The one that if you saved in the city, you couldn't get out and you were done for.
Yep.
You
weren't able to load your save.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah, they did patch that.
Of course they patched that, but I felt so bad for those players.
Oh, didn't they have the competitive one too, where people could see if you were doing a multiplayer battle?
I don't remember.
They could see your moves and they patched that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they also had, there was some move and ability interactions that they had to be hey, don't use these at these competitive events until we patch them.
I just realized, are we going to roll on roller skates again in Lumia City? Are we going to ride on Go-Goat? I want to ride on Go-Goats.
An expansion of the Poke Ride feature like we've been having.
Yeah, I would love that. That's something that I really liked about Let's Go was, I wrote a Charizard. I'm like, yes, this is great. That would be cool to have in there. There's so many possibilities. And then to keep going, why Z through A or Z-A? What's your thoughts on that? We know Zygarde.
Yeah, it's going to be the Zygarde game.
Well,
now, remember, really old, tall guy, very tall guy.
That lanky guy.
Oh my gosh, so we think, that would be cool. I wonder if we can pull him on the screen, but that would be super cool.
If I mentioned that ahead of time, you probably would have had it readied up, but it's okay.
Pokemon Waluigi.
He, in his Floette.
Yeah, that we never got.
Yeah.
That I wanted.
This could lead into, what are we thinking? This says, what was it? A redevelopment project.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
The giant. He was a tall dude.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, he's having to crouch to be visible on screen.
Look how tiny.
If you've seen the Pokemon
memes
of that guy that's it's been so many years, 3,000 years or whatever. Yeah, it's that guy.
That's the dude.
That's the dude. So you think that A relates to him?
I mean, he's the most famous.
Flip the letters backwards.
Yeah, AZ. Because that's his name, AZ.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yes.
That makes
and
sense.
figuring that his story resolved in X and Y, you know, there's speculation of when does this game take place in relation at least to X and Y. Are we talking, you know, 150-ish years ago, like Legends Arceus was? That historically France had a big redevelopment around. So basically, everything around Paris was taken out and
Yeah.
you know, redeveloped.
Yep.
You know,
Paris.
for, you know, for what led to its current layout in the modern era. Is this part of it?
Do you think we'll get bad guys?
Yeah.
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 We're gonna get villains. The fashion villains.
Yeah. Well,
Team what team? Team Flare, right?
Flare, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get the Flare Squad, and they'll be like a team of heroes that we join to like slowly aid in like the development project, and it's the really cool guy who looks a lot like Lysander, but he's actually just a nice guy, and it's just like that really uncomfortable thing where like, oh yeah, this team is good now, but give it a few decades, and they're gonna try to like wipe out the world.
What was
There,
this? It's just been a long time.
there was a icon in the upper right of the image of the Luminosa City redevelopment
Yeah.
project that had it in the Pokemon language, in the upper Pokemon language
yeah.
under the symbol. I remember seeing that thrown around that it was people who know how to read the Pokemon language
Yes.
translated it. I just don't remember it offhand. That may be a hint as to the baddie team.
The baddie team.
Much to like what your Team Galactic equivalent was in Legends.
Well, 'cause
Arceus.
Isn't that like the team that you joined though, and we're like
Yeah.
mostly good
So
with
weird
until
how it
that one
was.
chapter, and like they were never actually bad guys; they were just kind of scared.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, it's going to happen again. This is going to be like the Team Flare when they were good, and then just something went wrong in
So-
the intervening decades.
So many possibilities
Yep.
here.
So another mechanic that we could see is agile and strong styles. That was like a core thing of the battle experience, that it can alter your turn flow.
Oh my gosh, yes!
Yeah. Could we
Use-
consider that a baseline to see that again? Most likely.
I hope they refine it because it kind of always felt
I
like,
hate doing the same animation over and over and over.
well, not even that, but it kind of felt like you had this like in the right hand corner, you'd have like a turn order, and it was always more like a vague turn suggestion. Like I would see they get a turn, I get a turn, they get a turn, I get a turn, so I attack, and all of a sudden they get 2 turns, and then I get
Yes,
2
that was
turns, and then
annoying.
they get 2 turns, and then I get 3 turns, and
Yeah, because that dealt with the speed and basically almost a hidden stat on the move itself, that maybe if they could at least make it more upfront for it. But you won't know for your opponent, though, if they use a turn that actually has a lower, like a move that puts them sooner in the turn order again.
yeah. Honestly, at that point, I'd rather almost not even have a turn order.
Do you
like
think
if,
you can? Sorry, keep going. I'm just jumping. Keep going.
I was gonna say, if you're going to give me, like, I understand, like, I don't need to know what my opponent's doing, but at that point, I feel like you're giving me this information. If I rely on it and it's then wrong because of stuff they do, I would almost rather just not have it at all.
Yeah.
Because it does feel like being lied
Yeah,
to.
the most equal analogy I have from my gaming experience that I can give, it's like Final Fantasy X. That one also had like a turn order system where depending on moves and stuff, it would affect where you were in the turn order, and then the enemies would also have that. And it came down to, you should figure out what your opponent has. Be ready for, they may just have a trick up their sleeve to where they can just have 2 turns, and that's just enough to really hurt you.
And can you mega it? Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff in this. But I wanted to bring up, when my brain just jumped to, was, in every game they think of many different ways of us to move. So like bike and roller skate, and then all of a sudden you ride a deer, or you fly a bird, or
Danny
you
J
ride a bicycle.
asking if we can get a reunion call with us when ZA drops.
That would be fun.
And
yeah.
it was all informative, and thank you guys. Thank you for viewing.
Yeah, thank you.
course.
But yeah, how do you think we're gonna move in this game? Like, are they gonna give us
with our legs.
with their
I think they're going to give us a Gundam.
No, but seriously, do you think it's gonna be a Mon? Or do you think they're gonna, or are we gonna be able to fly?
Now,
Or just
on
ride
the tier of
go-goats
Mons,
everywhere?
Every one of the ride Pokemon in Legends Arceus was a new Pokemon.
Yes, it was.
Either a new Pokemon or a new form of a Pokemon.
All the Hisuian forms.
Yeah, all unique to that region.
Yeah.
that could we have a baseline expectation if we have multiple different ride mons?
Can we fly over the city?
Will we have a few different, new Pokemon for past Kalos or future Kalos, depending?
But yeah, like timey wimey Kalos, Go-Go.
Yeah.
I think Go-Go. I think it's in the name. It has to be like your land mount, or maybe it's not your land mount. Maybe it swims.
Go-Go, but not a metal Go-Go. Don't give me future Go-Go. Just give me better Go-Go. I would love better Go-Go.
All Pokemon are current in the
It's a
future,
motorcycle Go-Go.
Like an aspect that I liked in Scarlet and Violet, just in terms of gameplay compared to Legends of Arceus, was being able to just, oh yeah, I'm riding this Pokemon and I can easily just do all the things, because it got to be a little clunky on the controller to be like, oh wait, I want to jump from flying to half to climbing. Oh wait, I got too close to this wall. It pulled me into climbing mode, and then it was rather annoying that
I died a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll die in this game?
Yeah. You die in the game, you die in real life.
You die in real life.
I think it's all going to be one overworked Go-Go. It's just going to be like he has he has like an inflated, like he has like a hot air balloon backpack for when you want to fly. He has like little goat float. He's like little goaty floaties.
Someone
for when
draw
you want to
this,
swim.
please.
Yeah.
Someone draw this. I need this. Oh my god.
And he's a goat, so that's your climbing one right there. He can already climb up vertical surfaces.
Oh yeah, you'll just go up. I feel like we're gonna be like Spider-Man and Batman in this city. Like.
Which, hey, that would be fun.
Now you said this is all gonna stay within the city.
By the marketing of the game announcement, I'm trying to make sure I phrase this right where I'm not wrong here, but by the marketing, they say it's within Lumiosa City.
That's why I'm a little concerned. I brought this up with you before. I want to see how this goes because I like nature. I'm like, where are we going to get our wild spawns? Are they just going to walk in the city, or we're just going to be a section
If you look at the image of the city, they have like at least 5 circular areas, and they look like little parks almost within the city. I don't know.
So.
We'll have to see.
And
If you catch them in the city, that would be cool too, though.
there's also something to be said for, I'm sure a lot of them you can, like, I mean, look what we saw in the video. We saw Pikachu running through the city. We saw Furfrou hanging out. We saw Gyarados and other water Pokemon in the river. So I think there's going to be a lot of that. Something to keep in mind, too, is this is called the Luminios Redevelopment Project. Who's to say how urban this city is? Maybe only some of the circular chunks have been built, and there's some that's still, like, rural or, like, undeveloped areas.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I'm ready for the Mallcore theme of Lumiosa City theme. The dead Mallcore theme. Yeah. Like the Jubilife City.
Oh my god, it was such a dead song.
No, what I remember about Lumios was hatching eggs, because that was just my thing.
Yeah,
I would
right
go,
around the tower. Yes.
With my Talonflame and hatch a bunch of eggs. What do you think? Are we gonna get? We don't get eggs in Legends of Arceus, correct? So.
Yeah.
No, none
Oh
of
yeah,
that.
that is something I didn't write down. Do we expect any breeding or no?
In baskets, they just appear after you make a sandwich. It's just, but I don't think so. You know, but it would be cool.
It's built more around. Legend of Arceus was built way more focused around the catching,
And
because you didn't
Pokedex
have that much.
filling.
You didn't have any stat differences between the Pokemons as a baseline. You didn't have natures and all that.
Yeah.
Could we? That would be another baseline. Could we
Yeah.
see that come in or not?
I can make an argument for both. I'm going to repeat myself and say that they're clearly not as unfamiliar with Pokemon in ZA as they were in Arceus, so I can see them having facilities for Pokemon to be able to breed because they're clearly more entwined with each other as opposed to Arceus, where they just didn't really know a lot about these mysterious
Ooh, so
creatures.
storyline-wise, you think it could
Yeah.
definitely add.
All right, and since we only got a little bit left, let's turn towards starters. Any speculation? Because a lot of the...
What do they do in Legends of Arceus? They just picked a 5th gen, a 2nd gen, and a
7?
8th?
Seven.
It's hard to keep track nowadays.
Seven.
It was 7
Yeah,
gen.
'cause it was,
So
yeah.
Oshawott, Cyndaquil, and Rowlet.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to pick 3 different ones with different gens.
Now, I would not do Gen 1 because
Yeah,
they're going
no
to have
Gen
Megas.
1, yeah.
No Gen 3 because they're going to have Megas.
Do you think the starters could turn into Megas?
Unless
what
they
your
want
guess?
to, like, I would not be saying them if they, unless these new starters can get megas. But your starters in X and Y couldn't become mega either.
Yeah.
But I would count them out to be like Legends Arceus, that they're going to be available in the wild.
Or they just turn
Because that's how I,
into them.
you know,
It would be interesting if
Mega Greninja.
we get new starters. we get different starters, and they get megas. Like we get like a mega Greninja.
What? Oh yeah,
no. We get like a mega. We get like a Gen 7 starter that gets a mega.
that would be cool.
yeah.
Wasn't there a certain gen that did not get any megas at all? I'm trying to remember. Like back when megas came out, there was a certain generation that got like 0.
I want to say.
Was it 6th? Like 6th gen?
Yeah, 6th
Literally
gen-
got.
Yeah, because they were doing the mega thing to old Pokemon. I don't
Yes.
think.
The only
well,
one that got a
DNC.
Yeah, DNC.
Yeah. So it would be cool to actually give the generation that came up with it.
Oh, I got a missed for that. Hoopla.
I thought that was Gen 7.
Hoopla, not hoopla. Was it
Hoopla.
hoopla?
Yeah. Hoopla.
Hoopla!
That's
I don't
what
care
Donkey
for it.
Kong says in
That was my
Donkey
least
Kong
favorite movie.
64.
Yeah. But, yeah, so starters, we could see either. No.
I just want new forms. That was
Yeah.
such a huge. I stayed away from spoilers. So when my Cyndaquil turned into that really, really cool Typhlosion, I screamed because I did not expect that. I was like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
That was a really cool.
That was
type,
an
too.
amazing surprise for me.
It'll be an interesting design choice if they don't give new forms for the starters of the game.
Or at least new, because the new forms, the Hisuian forms, are really, really great. I love it. It's almost like getting a new mon. They got to do this with this game. We need something new.
And then for one of them to get another mon of the same type and be completely outclassed by it.
Yeah.
and we don't think there's going to be new types. No way.
No.
No way.
No new types. But I think they've filled out for everything that they want to in terms of types.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting a new type until one kind of becomes outbalanced again, because that is
I
kind
just
of.
want poor normal to beat something.
I think normal is just the fact that it's
It's just a neutral.
jack of many trades, master of none.
Normal and bug should beat fairy.
Yeah.
That's just a true statement.
Okay.
So we could expect maybe some new Pokemon overall because of the if they do a ride system akin to Legends Arceus. Can we expect new regional forms?
That would be great.
So actually, here's something I'm sorry I just thought of now that might impact things. This is the first game where I think we're kind of expecting new regional forms and new megas at the same time.
Are you saying?
So like,
Ooh.
and I'm not saying this is going to happen. I don't think it would, but just as an example, let's say there's a regional Gardevoir. Does that regional Gardevoir then get its own mega as distinct from base Gardevoir?
Man, that would be insane.
Right.
Or do both Gardevoirs mega into the same Gardevoir? Because conceivably they would use the same Mega Stone.
There's so many possibilities.
There's a lot that can go on with that.
Yeah.
So many.
So it's just a lot of wait and see. I'm not going to overhype or anything
I
for
would
it.
love to do this again when we get more information, and then we can see how much of our guesses or things like that would go into it. That would be super cool. If you're down, comment.
Yeah.
Hit subscribe.
What were some of the ones that I've seen? I saw a nice little infographic of Pokemon that got megas or anything like that. And
I just want to make a Kangaskhan again, not gonna lie. I know it was OP, but it was great. She beat so many people. She was wonderful. Now, real quick, before I forget to mention it, as a shiny hunter, for anyone that shiny hunts, how do we think that's gonna play? Are they gonna bring out the little ching? Because we don't get that in Scarlet and Violet, and we miss shinies constantly because of it. And that's one thing we really love about Arceus is you hear a ching and you're like, whoop, there's a shiny over there. There's going to be shinies in this game. They know that's a moneymaker.
Yeah.
So, what do we think? And do you think we're going to catch them the same way, just like a Pokeball toss?
If they're going with the Legends title, I'm hoping that baseline gameplay features that came about because of Legends Arceus are what we should be expecting for it.
Yeah.
If not, then that tells us that Legends is really their experimenting around. Don't expect the same thing twice.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think of the ching? Going back to that, do we think we'll hear shinies?
I think we'll hear shinies. Honestly, it's kind of strange to me that we don't hear them in Scarlet and Violet. I wonder if that's some sort of odd limitation because kind of going back to like being a city versus not. I feel like what they're going to have to do with ZA, if it is going to be more based in just Luminio City, is it's going to have to be designed. It's going to have to be dense. It's going to have to be full of life, full of content. I think working in a smaller space but making it more defined and alive, they'll have the ability to be able to put stuff like the shiny jingle for Pokemon in the overworld.
Tinfoil hat theory of why that they didn't have the shiny jingle in Scarlet and
They
Violet
just
was
disappear
because
so quick.
that they disappear so quick, and 2 wall spawns.
Oh yeah, because they hide in the walls.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's such a
That's
pain.
the tinfoil hat theory I've seen
It makes
online.
sense,
It's just
though.
where that players don't have to feel angry because like they heard a shiny jingle, looked everywhere and couldn't find it, and they got ripped off because it was hiding on the other side
But
of the
they
wall.
hide so quick. I've lost many shines just by flying for a split second. Oh, there's a lab, and it's gone. Like,
Yep.
But I'm curious. I would love to get that back though, if possible. But are they gonna hide in the walls in Lumios? Well,
Yeah.
Oh, can we go? I want to get that gameplay of going into the buildings again and like talking to people. Like, will this really feel like a city?
I think they kind of have to do that.
They have to.
Especially if their building is so much around a city, you have to make the city feel like a city.
Yeah, not just like, which is the main city in Black and White? I'm going back to Black and White for a second because I remember going through that big city.
New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, the New York equivalent. Yep.
Yeah, it was the New York equivalent. There were a few things you can go into, but overall it was just walking past it. And I hate that feel. They can't do this with this. Like, if you're going to base your game in a city, there's got to be more content in those.
And I think that's what they're going to do. This might be a strange comparison to make given the different ratings, but I feel like it's going to be the sandbox is going to be a lot more like the Yakuza Like a Dragon game than it is like Scarlet and Violet. Like a smaller in size perhaps, but so much more detailed with that size that it feels more alive because of it.
I hope we could talk to people more.
I hope so.
That would be really cool. I like those offhand comments you get from the players sometimes.
Sometimes, they, in the past, they would sometimes give you random hints.
Yeah.
I wish I had looked up a list of like potentially teased Pokemon of like, how years ago an old trainer mentioned something that became Muna.
Like Muna.
Yeah.
Muna was a big one.
If there were anything like that in regards to X and Y, I'm probably going to be on that crowd in terms of ZA. I'm going to be on that crowd of probably doing another playthrough of my Pokemon Y.
And then with
checking it out again.
Zygarde, what do we think his role in this is going to be? Like, he's
part of the story.
So he's going to be a big part of the story?
Because that Z had like the hexagon pattern of Zygarde.
Hexagon be Bestgons. But seriously, it's going to...
Yep.
Yep, there he is.
Yeah, it had like
And
those.
how his forms work? Are we going to have to collect the cells? That would be cool. Like the Spiritomb. Like how we have to collect all the little things in the...
Maybe. Honestly, I kind of hope he plays more of... My big issue with that is like he didn't get to play. He's never played a role in the story, and I hope that this
would really
more than anything else. I guess that's what I hope is that this gives our green hexagon snake boy a chance
His
to
name's going to
be
be
the story.
Hexagon or Hexagon.
Now, potential speculation of new legendary is that this all deals with Yggdrasil and stuff and such. That there should be. We don't have a Pokemon yet for the equivalent of the lore of Ratatoskr, the squirrel basically that maintains the tree.
Okay.
That we have everything else but that one out of like the 4 in the story. That could that may be a new legendary Pokemon for if they were to build upon the lore and have that. And then another thing is, should we expect special forms of the X and Y legends?
So Xerneas and Yveltal.
Kind of like how Dialga and Palika.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Should we?
Bacon Bird! When he's shiny, he looks like Bacon Bird. That would be cool. I would love for them to come back. But yeah, I really
expect them to be in
I wanna
the
see
game.
more
Oh, they'll be in the
little
game.
Hexagon Wormy.
Yeah. But should we expect new forms of them? Granted, competitively, would new forms be even any good? Because like Xerneas was like really strong for a fairy legendary in its generation.
OP. I loved its move in 7th gen though. Like it had, I think
The
if you put
Geomancy?
like it did some funny stuff in there.
Yep.
Now that we're running out of time though, Raven, did you want to jump in with anything at all, or Did you have any thoughts?
Well, I honestly I want to go back to like just the Pokemon Presents in general.
Yeah.
And I was really, really hoping that we would have gotten a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
such
hoping
love.
for like a new one specifically made for the Switch. Like I know we had the remake of the original Mystery Dungeon from back in the day put onto the Switch. I think that was back in 2022 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a while
21.
ago.
21. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was hoping we would have gotten a new one just so I could indulge in that because I absolutely love
I agree
the
with
Mystery Dungeon
you.
series.
In regards to that, I did not have any expectations because I believe it was Spike Chunsoft was the studio that developed it, and they just released a new Mystery Dungeon game that I remember as part of the marketing of like, hey, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon fans, maybe check this out, maybe show that there's still interest for a Mystery Dungeon game, and maybe Game Freak can let us make a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Oh, so like a Mystery Dungeon game that
okay,
wasn't
okay.
Pokemon?
Yeah, they do Mystery Dungeon games, and they got a license to do Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Oh,
Oh, I
But
never
they
knew
have their
that.
own.
I love the
They made
stories.
a new entry in one that they own themselves. That they hope, if the sales and interest are good enough on it, that they could get maybe to be able to do a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Was there anything else, Raven, or was that like the big one with you?
Well, in regards to Legends ZA, I am very hyped for that because
Yeah, especially after the
Gen
discussion.
6 was honestly one of my favorite gens.
Mine too.
Besides Generation 3, Generation 3 of course is my favorite for obvious reasons.
Me, it was 6,
Spinda.
believe it or not.
So with Gen 6, I was super happy to see we're coming back with it, and something I'm really hoping to find out about, is like, are we gonna have any context to, that bracket? Because I'm very, very concerned. Like, is that thing gonna be over with? Like,
Yeah,
they said they're doing
future
some
one.
redevelopment. I'm not sure what they're
They're
really
gonna get better with the
doing,
construction.
It was actually,
skills.
because it's Y. It had the Y2K bug, so the
Yeah.
systems have been down since January 1st, 2000.
I'm
Oh my
interested in all the outfits. They definitely did with Legends of Arceus. They're gonna bring it to this, but I wanted to bring that up, seeing all the outfits again. But yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
funny if we run into him again.
Yeah.
All right, how much time do we have left? Because I can keep going.
Well, I suppose we can wrap right here, guys.
Aw.
So
Okay.
Let's see
Fair.
what happens with this. If our predictions are right, or if other people's predictions, or what ideas. But this is all exciting. All fun
Definitely.
stuff.
absolutely.
Okay.
And so I want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching the stream. Thank you so very much.
Thank
if
you.
you've been enjoying it, feel free to gently caress that like button. I'd very much appreciate that. All of us would appreciate that here. And any final words before we go, guys?
You lost the game. But no, thank you for this. I want to do this again. Like they mentioned, whoever commented, thank you. Let's do a update with this, especially if we get more spoilers.
Yeah.
Not like true spoilers, you know.
Yeah, more rumors. Maybe get closer to the release date.
Yeah.
Okay, what all we know and build from there. Really speculate from there. If I end up following the sources, if I end up coming across sources, I may know things at that time again.
Yeah.
All right.
I will also know who I followed for them, their level of accuracy, and then be able to hopefully talk about it in a non-spoilery way for anyone that doesn't want to be fully spoiled. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Not me. Not me.
Or it can be
No
a month
leaks.
after release, and I
Yeah.
can be like, here's what leaks were saying. Leaks are
No. Anyway.
what they
A
were
month
saying
after
a month
release.
after release.
Yes.
That way
yes,
it can be
yes,
measure
yes.
against that, measure against what we've talked about here.
But anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see. But this
Yep.
was fun. Thank
was a
you
good time.
for having us, Raven. And then
Of
did you guys want to
course.
say anything?
I'm good.
You're good?
No, I'm good. It was
Yeah.
good conversation.
Exciting. Let's see what happens.
All right, awesome. So with that said, everyone, I'm DJ Raviesta. That's gonna be it for me. I will catch you guys later. And remember, the Rhinos are watching. Good night.
Step out of your mind. Out. Step out, step out, step out, step out. Out of your, out, step out, step out, step out, step out. Out of your mind. Step up, step up, step up, step out of your